from the inside. I must come up with something better to have my... This is a water cistern, and that is only for collecting rainwater. In this area there are no wells, and we have no rain from about April till about now. And in the old days they were quite depending on that they could collect rainwater during the winter to have water during the summer. If you want to look down into this cistern, it looks like a chimney top next to me here. And to me it's a bit amazing that we still have water deep down after a long, hot, dry summer, because it was leaking, but we had it repaired, so now we have water all through the year. A number of channels leading rainwater into our cistern, helping us keeping our water bill a bit lower. But we do not claim that to be a proof for a garden in the days of Jesus. Most archaeologists say it's not old enough. There are some saying it is old enough, but you know, archaeologists, they have different opinions. I have found out that if you have three archaeologists, you have three opinions. But that is if they are not Israelis. If they are Israelis, you have five opinions. Making it even more difficult. It took another 10 years. 1924, this wine press was found. On your left-hand side, you can see a low wall, and on the opposite side of the wall and down, you can find this wine press. And this is an important discovery. We have mainly three different types of wine presses from the time period. Smaller ones for personal use, can even be portable. We have a quite different design, but a lot bigger. That is a wine factory taking grapes from different vineyards. But this is the type that was built in connection to one vineyard. To be such a type, it is big. It is more than 50% bigger than the average, telling us that in this area there was a big vineyard. I told you I would tell what it looked like. It looked like a vineyard. You know, gardens in those days were not for beauty. They only had useful plants. So a vineyard goes for a garden, and the size could indicate that the owner was a rich man. Yes. I have nothing more to say about that. I wish I had, but if we never found his name here. I might think about a specific name, but I cannot mention it, as we don't have proofs for it. Instead, I would like to explain a little about the tomb before we come down there, because it's a lot easier when you're sitting together here than when we're standing among all the people moving around. In this area, we have altogether 40 ancient tombs. We have access to one of them. Most of them are inside St. Stephen's property that I mentioned about. And what we can say about this tomb is that it is hewn out from the rock. And it is a rich man's tomb. It's not a royal tomb, but it's certainly not an average tomb. It is a rich man's tomb. Then I would like to explain a little about it. When you come into the tomb, you will come into a small room called the Weeping Chamber. That is where the body was prepared for the burial, with spices, olive oil, and linen. And after that, brought into the burial chamber with two different possible positions to place a body. Normally, a body stayed there for just a little less than 1 year. When only bones remained, they took out the bones and placed them in small stone boxes and reused the tomb for somebody else who died. So a tomb with two possible positions for bodies would be enough for a family tomb to last for generations. But when it comes to Jesus, there are some differences. First of all, he was buried in a new tomb where nobody had been before him. What is better, he did not stay for 1 year. He just stayed for the weekend. Yeah, that is what he said. And best of all, nobody carried him out. He walked out from the tomb. Amen. So, can we tell from the Bible what the tomb of Jesus looked like? It's not that easy to compare the different Gospels. Depending on what Gospel you read, on that Easter morning, it was one woman, two women, or three women who met one angel or two angels. See, before I started here, I thought I knew everything about that Easter morning. Now I have tried to dig a little deeper, so I am a bit more confused now. But at least Mark 16 tells about 3 women coming to the tomb early in the morning. First, I was a bit puzzled about these women, because I also knew that they had seen the men doing the job before the Shabbat, and now they come after the Shabbat. Why? To check up if the men did a proper job? That is what I suspected. But, well, I'm a married man. But then I understand that the men were interrupted by the Shabbat, and the women came to finish the job that the men had started. And that made me give a thankful thought about women finishing up jobs that we men start. Blessed are they. Blessed are we who have such women. So, anyhow, when they came into the tomb, they saw a young man in a white robe sitting to the right. Not standing to the right, but sitting to the right. If it's correct to compare with the 2 angels in the Gospel of John, it becomes more specific, because John tells about 2 angels, and one sat on the place for the head and the other one on the place for the feet. So that must be the burial chamber. So if it's correct to take right-hand side from Mark and burial chamber from John, we have this design. And that is a bit puzzling, because in that time period of Jesus, almost without exceptions, the burial chamber was deeper into the rock, like in file instead, not beside. This was more common centuries earlier. So some people who know about archaeology, when they see this tomb, they say this one is probably too old to be new in the days of Jesus. But that statement comes with 2 difficulties. One is they have not read the Bible carefully. Secondly, they don't know about that there is another tomb just maybe 1-2 yards in here. So it was not possible to do it in that correction. And now my friend Caesar will tell us where the service will be.
Yes.
For who?
This is for you.
Well, I have 2 groups.
2 groups over here.
Yeah, 25. Let's say 25 or 15.
Well, they told me just for the group of 30. 20. So, but let me just.
Can you check on the card how many it is?
Sock it to them, Bethel.
Okay. So, what makes this tomb a little bit different compared with other tombs is also that we have signs from early Christians worshiping. Not very early, but Byzantinic time. In the tomb, somebody made a drawing, now reconstructed.
25.
The 25 will have the service up on 8. That is that area. Well, it says 8. But I like to think that someone who was here like 1600 years ago sent us a message. And now we can read Jesus Christ, Alpha, Omega.
Wow.
Outside the tomb, you can also see a channel cut out from the rock to support the stone that covered the opening. The opening was about 2/3 of what it is today. And the channel is a little bit demolished, it's damaged. It's leaning on the inside. It was originally in a straight angle. So think about it as if in straight angle. You have the correct vision from it. So I think we can go down to the tomb now. And when we come down there, please watch where you put your feet. It's a bit uneven and we don't want accidents to happen. And when you go into the tomb, I want you to think about 2 things. Watch your head and watch your feet. That's what we always say. Inside the tomb, maybe you would like to say a short prayer or something. When you go out from the tomb, just have in your mind, now I am doing what Jesus did. I'm walking out from the tomb.